looks like Noda is going to be your winner of this Portuguese Grand Prix. Is your champion. JJ splits the middle, gets past both drivers. This track never fails to produce action. Can we all agree on that real quick? Split 2 started with 14 drivers and we finished with 5. Yes, 5. So that was interesting to say the least. But it's a new split. It's a new time. Split 1 is here, and we've got a lot to talk about with Split 1 as well. So, looking at Split 1 for this weekend, Tazo won last week. And if you look at the standings, it is Tazo and Red Bull that are running away. 31 points is the gap between Tazo and Ignis right now. And per the discussion from our wonderful statistician, Tazo can secure the championship this weekend in Singapore. Statistically, he can do it. But this is how it has to happen. Tazo has to win. Ignis has to finish below P7. John Meister cannot finish on the podium. Her last season, Tazo started pole, finished P2. Ignis was P19, finished P5. John Meister started P2, finished P3. So it is possible, but impractical. But possible. So as you watch this race, keep that in the back of your mind. You need to be watching the Alfa Romeos of Ignis and John Meister, and we need to really keep our eyes on Tazo and see where Tazo can pull this off. Because there is also still the possibility of some different things happening. If a couple of drivers really show up and show out, like Kashti isn't really out of it. Kashti has to win in fastest lap all 3 remaining races, and Tazo has to score less than 28 points. And then Kashti could be our champion. As we sit right now in the standings, as we watch Tazo here push through his lap, Tazo is the first driver to put in the lap, I believe. Tazo's purple middle sector looking really, really good coming through so far. Full 20 driver grid here in Split 1, so it's going to be a little bit more chaotic too. I hope everyone enjoyed seeing the Mercedes AMG safety car, because you're going to see a bit more of it today, I believe. Tazo invalidating his lap. We're going to jump on board with Cashty here, who is just behind Tazo, running through. But to give you an idea of the current points settings, Tazo currently 120 points in, Ignis 89 points, John Meister 80 points, Maddie sitting with 73 points, and Cashty with 73 points as well. So it's really possible for either. Tazo statistically can win this weekend. However, as impractical as it might be. I'm not entirely sure it's not going to happen. Oh, hello, Syntax. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the things you got to learn is to look up, not down sometimes, and I'm trying to look at the stats and make sure that things are going right. And Syntax puts it on 137.607, my co-commentator of greatness, showing back up on the track this weekend. And pulling out a mega time early on. Puash currently P2. We're starting to see times roll in here. Graxon is currently out trying to put in a time. And we'll see where Graxon is able to finish, as Graxon's coming around the last couple of corners here. And Graxon is going to come around and... Oh, I love watching the cars through the last two corners. Graxon's going to come through 137.203, so 0.4 of a second up. Now, we need to see Tazo put in a time. We still need Bimolino Gaucho to put in a time. Bimolino was having a very, very good race in Split 2. I have to mention, very, very good race in Split 2 until some absolute chaos happened. And if you didn't get to see the Split 2 race, definitely you should go check it out on our YouTube. It should be uploaded here within the next day or two. You should go check it out after the fact. And just enjoy the back half of the race. You don't have to watch the first half of the race, but definitely watch the back half of the race. Because it was impressive, to say the least. Now Tazo currently on an out lap here. Bimolino Gaucho is currently in a push lap. So we'll see where Bimolino lands here. Coming around final sector, 137.9, P5, especially after already doing a lap on those soft tires, an extra lap out. Fairly good time, you have to say. Good job, Bimolino. Putting in P5. All of the drivers know what they have to do this weekend in order to secure their places and in order to potentially win. And to quote everything, get some luck and start winning. And then it's really up to anyone for where we land in terms of the rest of the season. Extract and Tazo currently on push laps. Ignis is on an out lap coming through the final sector, so we'll jump on board with him in just a little bit of time and see what he can put through. Of course, if you are new to FRL and you want to join, check out the YouTube, give us a follow on Twitch, go subscribe to the YouTube channel, jump in the Discord, pick a number, and get ready to go because things are going to be very, very exciting. Season 8 has already been announced. I should lie. I should correct myself there. I shouldn't lie. Season 8 qualifiers have been announced. We don't have an official calendar for Season 8 yet, but if admin want to slip the calendar into my DMs while we're in the middle of the race, that would be great because I'd love to be the first to announce it. But Season 8 qualifiers have been announced. If you're new, you just got to go put in a couple of race times. You need to do that you need to put in a wet Brazil time and a dry Spain time, and then that can set you up for trying to qualify in for splits. If you currently exist in FRL and you are currently a signed up driver, both Split 1 or Split 2, you are racing for position right now. Top 2 drivers in Split 2 automatically transfer to Split 1. Top 8 drivers in Split 1 will automatically transfer and keep their positions in Split 1. Everyone else has to race for their positions. Some one-shot races, some 25% races. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's really a guess as to who is going to wind up where with next season. We should see some jockeying around and some shuffling for positions here. And I would say we're going to see some big names move forward. We're going to see some big names move back. But all in all, it's going to keep it fair and competitive. If you want to jump in and be a part of next season, check out the Discord. Jump in, pick a number, throw up your time trial times. and we'll see you on the track next season. You've got until April 9th to put in a time to join the league, so a little over a month now. Tazo comes across, currently P5, just beats out Bimolino Gaucho, 188 or 137.884. Graxent still 0.4 of a second up. Syntax is currently out on a lap here, and I'm curious to see. Oh, spinning in the final corner. God, that was. Oh, I don't know what that lap was going to be. That is very painful. That's a lap thrown away. 8.5 minutes left to go here in qualifying. Buchik is a driver we need to take a look at here. We do, of course, have some drivers that are going to be putting in penalties here and dealing with that. So whoever goes through it is going to be Puhash losing 3 places, Buchik 5-place grid penalty. So it's really important for them to put in good laps. Also, was Syntax not just on provisional pole? Or P2? Why is Syntax now down in P19? Okay, we'll keep our eyes on that as we go. We'll see how things line up. Let's see. Kashti needs to put in a competitive time here. Tazo, of course, as we learned in Split 2, and as I say every weekend, and we'll tell you every weekend anytime you watch FRL that I commentate, it's not about where you start, it's about where you finish. And that was very, very true in Split 2. It's always very true in Singapore. All right, now we're continuing to watch Puhash come through. Puhash was purple first sector, but I think, yeah, purple middle sector, okay. Puhash continuing to go through, so I think Puhash is going to find some good time here and improve. We'll see where Puhash can bring it around final sector here. And Noda 136.9. Noda cracking us into the 136s here. And we are going to follow that up with a 137.0 from Puhash. So Puhash putting it in P2 at the moment. Still plenty of drivers on track, though. 6 minutes left to go in qualifying. Still plenty of time to find. And of course, we do have Syntax here, who is currently going through the middle sector. Can't tell if Syntax is pushing or not at the moment. I think once Syntax crosses the line again, it will resync him to wherever he should be on the grid here. And Syntax into the pits now. So several drivers out. Let's jump on board with Bimolino Gaucho here coming through the final sector. Let's see, it says Bimolino Gaucho is down just a little bit on time here. A little bump into the outside wall there, but still holding on to it. That is part of the dangers. Cuts the curb a little bit, swings it out of the final corner, and spins it out of turn 23. And he's just going to try to sneak it right into the pits. We saw Zaki get disqualified for blocking. There it is. Bimolino disqualified for blocking the pit lane there. So the best Bimolino is going to get is going to be P10. Actually, no. That puts Bimolino starting in the rear of the field because Bimolino is disqualified. Ignis has still not put in a lap time yet. As we talked about, Ignis is one of the drivers that's in contention to pull the Drivers' Championship And he is going to be the sole one that can keep it away this weekend. So we'll see where Ignis is able to come through. I don't think Ignis is going to get a lap time in because that lap he's on is invalidated right now as well. So I don't think Ignis is going to be able to put in a lap time here. Extract coming around at the moment, sitting P15 going into the third sector here. I talked about this in Split 2, but I'll mention it again. These corners won't exist in the 2023 Singapore GP. They're doing some work on the bay, so this entire chicane section won't be there, and it's going to be a straight line all the way up until here. And it's supposed to cut off approximately, I think, 20 seconds on the lap time, which is just really weird to think about, but I'm kind of excited to see it. Extract puts himself up into P14 with that time. Maverick on an outlap. 3 minutes left to go here in qualifying. Graxon is currently out and about as well, trying to find some pace here in this red Ferrari. Kashti, a 136.8, puts in the fastest time here. So Kashti heard the words, you need to win and get some luck, and said, I'm going to take that personally. And is trying to put in some competitive times here. Graxon's also trying to find himself in the mix here. Graxon, a very, very strong driver, and a lot to give there in the red Scuderia Ferrari. I had a long conversation with where was I going with that? Oh yeah, I had a long conversation with my partner. Me and her were talking about, because I got a bunch of real life F1 merch in last week, and one of the things I got was a AlphaTauri sweatshirt, and the front has the logo and it says Scuderia AlphaTauri. And we had a long conversation about, well, how is that actually pronounced? Turns out it is Scuderia, if you are Italian. And Scuderia means saddle in Italian. So instead of Scuderia Ferrari or Scuderia AlphaTauri, it should be Scuderia Ferrari, if you want to say it in a proper pronunciation. I am North American. I will continue to say Scuderia. I apologize to all of my Ferrari friends that I may offend with that. And Debe spins there in the middle sector. So that, I believe, is going to be Debe's qualifying gone. There's a minute 18 left. Is he just rolling backwards? He is indeed just rolling backwards. Now, as we continue to watch here, we've got 60 seconds left to go. Noda now back into the session. Noda's into the pits, though. I think that qualifying for Kashti and Noda is over. Pujols is on an outlap. Graxon is on no lap. Wasserschwein retiring from the session. Barthez, P11 on a push lap here. You've got Pujols P3 just in front of him on a push lap as well. I believe he's on a push lap. It's very hard to tell with these drivers sometimes if they're on push or in laps. But Pujols is coming through here, and we're going to see where Pujols can land his times as he comes through. Yellow flags all the way around. Tazo retiring out of the session. Pujols is going to come across, and Pujols does not change his time. So I think Pujols is still going to go around. I think this will be Pujols' final lap. I think he did 2 out laps. Graxon and Tazo are both out of the session. Wasserschwein, Maku, Bimolino, Gaucho out of the session here. John Meister is going to be coming through there in P8. Maddie's in P9. Buchik's in P10. Debe's out of the session. Kashti's out of the session. Checkered flag has fallen, so Kashti's 136.8 is holding on at the moment. Matouche is coming around, trying to put in the time, coming through the middle sector here. We have Pujols, who is coming through the first sector. His teammate Bernard is in the final sector now. What time is Bernard going to be able to pull through here? Bernard comes around the final corner. Bernard is going to come across a 138.6. Improves to P15. John Meister is coming around the final couple of corners here. Where is John Meister going to land? John Meister improves up to P3, 136.975. So still a bit of time being found by these drivers here at the very end. Matoush is coming around the final corners as well. Is Matoush going to be able to hold on? He does. And as he crosses the Singapore curbs, he comes around, is able to improve to P8. Is behind him here is, I believe, Extract coming around into the pits and validating a lap. So Extract calling it there. Pujols will be our next driver to come around. And P4, it looks like he's down quite a bit on this lap, though. So I don't know if it's going to amount to anything. And then behind Pujols, we have Ignis and Buchik that still need to put in laps. Pujols comes across the line. 136.437. I thought he was down. I'm an absolute liar. I apologize for the disrespect, Pujols. Pujols comes around to 136.437. And now Buchik is into the pits, missing a front wing. Last car to come across is going to be Ignis. Ignis will be coming through. And Ignis is very, very slow on this lap. It's invalidated. And ladies and gentlemen, Pujols pulling it out at the very, very last moment. Able to improve up 0.4 of a second on Cash GMP2. So Pujols really, really finding some competitive time there. But, of course, it's not about where you start. It's about where you finish. But really, starting in P1 is probably better than starting at the back of the field. Especially when it comes to Turn 1 carnage. So, Pujols, Kashti, Noda, John Meister, Ignis, Graxent, Syntax, Matoush, Tazo, Barthez, Matty, Buchik, Debe, Wasserschwein, Bernard, Maverick, Extract, Maku, and Bimolino Gaucho. So, Syntax ends up P7, even though it said he was at the back for me for some reason. Interesting. Stick around with us for just a bit. We will be right back. We are approximately 30 seconds or so away from the race starting. And I can't begin to tell you how... I don't know if excited is the word I want to use. But this should be a good race. Of course, everyone knows Singapore is probably the most challenging track that we have on the FRL calendar. I would argue this season this is probably our most difficult track, even though we had Jeddah and we had, Yas Marina, we have Miami. I would say this is probably the most difficult track. We're about 25 seconds from the race getting underway here, and I think the big talk of the day, as we talked about during our qualifying, is going to be, can Tazo do what he needs to do? Can Ignis and John Meister do what they have to try to do? Can they get in the way? Are Kashti and Matty going to be able to pull off the impossible? If they finish below second place, Kashti and Matty are automatically out of contention for the title. And it's going to be 5 red lights. And we are underway here for split one action, and already you see a little bit of a mix up there in the midfield. Graxit going through, Syntax going through. Look at the carnage side by side as we go through. That's an Alfa Romeo getting swallowed up. We're 3 wide through. There's a little bit of contact there between, I believe that was Barthez and Wasserschwein as we go through. We're coming around. Everyone has survived turn 1 for the most part. And then we go down Pujols and Tazo and John Meister here. They know how important this race is for them. Lots of contact there in the midfield, but nobody losing out yet. Tazo and John Meister, this is going to be the big fight. Who is going to come out with that? And now look back in the midfield, though. Look at this. Syntax on the inside of Matoush going around. And is he able to get that pass done? He is. He's going to hold on to that. We'll talk about tire strategy. We'll talk about everything in a moment. Here we go. Syntax around the outside. Matoush threw a little bit of a snap on the rear end there. And there is a traffic jam back in the midfield. Here we go. Big traffic jam. 3 wide all the way through. Back in the back, and it looks like everyone is going to sort themselves out. There went up the inside, went Buchik for P17. Very, very good move from him there. Front of the field, Kashti leads the way. Noda P2, Ignis P3, Pujols P4, Tazo, our championship leader, sits P5. John Meister P6. John Meister's under some pressure from Syntax, and Maku has now retired, and I think we are going to have a lap 1 safety car. Wasserschwein is going to pick up a penalty for a collision with Bernard. And Split 2 made it 5 laps. We at least made it through the first corner. And it's VSC tire strategy, hard to mediums or medium, medium, soft. 1 stop or 2 stop are the predicted strategies. And look at the medium tires and the hard tires that are out to play. I don't know how that's going to affect things. VSC is now gone, and we are back under green flag racing here. Noda in P2 trying to chase down Kashi in P1, and now we've got a lot of battles here. Bernard picking up a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Lots of carbon fiber was lost in that first lap. But at the moment, it's Kashi leading the way, followed by Noda, Ignis, Puhash, Tazo, Syntex in P6 in the Williams. Syntex looking very on form here this weekend, trying to chase down and try to have a strong finish to the season here. Ignis P3, he knows he needs to finish ahead of Tazo to keep his championship chances alive. Really, Ignis just needs to finish above the top 7. If John Meister finishes below the podium, which currently he sits P15, then John Meister's championship chances are over. Tazo is, of course, a 2-time champion here in FRL, so he has what it takes to get this done. But at the moment, he is not in the ideal position. But, of course, 31 laps here at Singapore go by very slowly and very quickly, so really we all just need to buckle in and enjoy the ride here. Continue to watch as we watch this battle between Syntex and Tazo and Puhash develop. This is going to be a big battle that's going to form too, because these 3 are going to sit down and try to chase down Ignis and Kashi and try to chase him down. Kashi, fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far. We're only on lap 3 though. But that's a big... Syntex significantly faster there. So Syntex is putting in the work. DRS is now enabled as well, which is going to help out a lot to some of these drivers trying to chase people down. And is really, really going to help them try to get a run. Riding on board with Syntex here. Syntex sets out his sights for P5 here. And to chase down Tazo, Ignis is going to have to be watched as well, because Ignis is chasing down Noda and getting very, very close here. The Alfa Romeo is on the McLaren driver. Lap 3 of 31. And there is a lot of action happening very quickly all across this track. Now it looks like Extract had disconnected, but is back in. Extract currently sitting P13, 10 seconds back from Demolino Gaucho in P12. So there's a pretty significant gap there that he needs to make up. And now that he's back in control of the car, it's possible that he could. Ignis, 0.2 of a second back here on Noda, putting in a lot of pressure here on the McLaren driver, keeping up with him very well. Losing a little bit of time out of the final corner, but still with DRS, he's able to catch up and kind of keep up here. You can see down into turn 1, he's a little bit more aggressive. Has to get on the brakes pretty hard, but Ignis putting a lot of pressure on Noda, and Noda just kind of setting back and holding on. Kashi is running away with this race, though. Look at that, 1.9 seconds the gap between Kashi and Noda. You can see this battle back here in the back developing between Noda and Ignis, as Ignis is continuing to try to get a run. He has DRS here again, but still not close enough. DRS isn't very powerful here at Singapore. John Meister back in P14, putting in fastest lap of the Grand Prix here. So John Meister trying to get a bit of a run. And of course, safety cars can mix everything up. So we kind of just have to sit back and take this race play by play, moment by moment, and just enjoy it as it happens. We'll see where people land up here in the long run. Ignis half a second back on Noda at the time. Puhash 0.9 of a second back here on Ignis, and Tazo 0.9 of a second back as well. starting lap 5 of 31 here, and Kashi has really settled in. We've got a yellow flag middle sector here. I believe that is going to be for Extra who is spun out of turn 13. Extra is back going, so no issues there. And this front 4 is really where I'm keeping my attention at here, because 1.8 seconds between Kashi and Noda, but then half a second back to Noda and Ignis, and Pujosh is right in that 1 second range to Ignis. So Pujosh, if he can push just a little bit, make up about a 1/10 of a second, he could get a little bit of DRS here, and that would help him out significantly. There's been a big pile up, though, in the 3rd sector. That is Buchik and Wasserschwein that are both struggling to get turned around. Baran was in the mix of that as well. Baran missing a front wing. Don't know what happened there between them, but I'm sure there's going to be a discussion on that later, because that is the bottom of the grid. But that was a big wreck there in the 3rd sector. Debe here winning the split 2 race. It was a controversial race, but winning split 2, Debe did. And now Debe currently back in P15, fighting with Extract. Bit of DRS open there. We'll see, can he get this pass done and continue to try to chase down? Is Debe going to be looking for a top 10 result here in split 1? So it looks like he's getting a good run there. Also, Graxit has a good chase on Syntex here, and Syntex is good on Tazo. So this entire front 7 cars really are in a good long line and kind of just settling in, racing with each other. Everyone's settling in, looking at the long haul here. You can see Graxit back here in P7, see the cars in front of him that he's looking at, and he's just settling in, hitting his marks, doing the right things, and really just trying to chase down Syntex here. You can see good grip off of the corner, keeping within half a second here of Syntex. And Ignis is doing well too to keep within half a second of Noda. And here goes some action. Tazo going to look around on Pujosh there. He thought about a move up the inside, wasn't able to make that move happen. That is a ghosted out Buchik there in the mix. Buchik now officially a lap down. This may cause a little bit of confusion for the drivers here, as they do have to deal with the ghosted out Haas in their mix and mirrors as well. Just causing a little bit of confusion there. Pujosh is by with no issues. And now we get to watch here as Tazo, Syntex, and Graxit are all catching up here. Graxit 0.2 of a second back on Syntex. We've got yellow flag sector 3. That is going to be for an Aston Martin, I believe, of Wasserschwein that has spun there. And as we go through, that is going to be Wasserschwein, because Baran now gets passed. And here are the leaders coming through. So cars starting to get lapped. We're here on lap 6. We're starting to see people lose positions and fall back pretty quickly. Pujosh looking at a little bit of a run here. Trying to chase down Ignis, but of course you've still got this Haas here in the mix of Buchik, who's laps down, and seems like maybe causing a little bit of confusion for the drivers here. That is Wasserschwein, who was on the side of the track there, letting the lead lap cars go through. Which you're not obligated to do here in FRL. Of course, ghosting is on, so you're not really obligated to have to do that. But it is something that is nice to do, and it looks like that is a retirement out of the session for Wasserschwein, and that is going to be our first safety car deployed. And if you're Kashi, you're absolutely kicking yourself right now that a safety car was called for that. We'll see what implications this has here on pit strategy. Is it looks like everyone was already by the pit lane by the time the safety car was called. Big talks of the race right now. Bimilito Gacho up 7 places. John Meister down 10 places. Pretty significant. Ignis is ahead of Tazo, which is his main goal, but Tazo's, of course, made up 4 places here. Syntex up a place, currently running P6. A very, very good result there for Syntex in that Williams, if he can hold on to that position. Debe currently sitting P14. We do have drivers into the pits now. John Meister and Debe and Bernard are into the pits. John Meister has made a pit stop. Baran and Buchik have both made 2 pit stops. It's medium tires going on for Debe and Bernard. More drivers into the pits now. Tazo and Graxent both into the pits here. Front wing change for Graxent. Tazo is going to come out ahead of the Ferrari driver. Ferrari going to lose a lot of positions there. Tazo's onto hard tires here. We're lap 8 of 31. And this is just a couple laps later than when we saw people swapping to hard tires, trying to run them to the end there in split 2. I don't know if they actually could have made them last to the end in split 2 because, of course, well, we all know how that went. But it is interesting to see that that is the decision that's being made now. Up 8 of 31 here, and we still have a bunch of the field spread out. So I think we're going to be under safety car for another lap or 2 here at least. Really need to see Tazo make a bit of improvement here and move forward. Of course, top 10 have yet to pit. Kashji currently sitting in the lead on hard tires. Kashji does have to win if he wants to keep his championship chances alive here in split 1. If Kashji or Maddie finish below P2, it is their championship contention's over. At the moment, Kashji P1, Maddie in P7. So, depending on how the rest of this race shapes up, we may be left down to a 4-way battle for the championship that could even still be just like a 3-way battle. Because Kashji is going to have to hope for horrible races from Tazo, Ignis, and John Meister for the rest of the season. But again, this is FRL. It's not completely unheard of. Really, it's just a matter of kind of holding on and seeing what comes up. All right, we're getting here halfway through the lap. If they're going to call in safety car this lap, this is going to be the time that they do it. And Call was not made this lap, so I think we've got one more lap here. We're still waiting on the field to bunch up, of course. So, Mercedes AMG safety car will lead us around just a little bit more. Big winner of the Singapore Grand Prix, Mercedes. That safety car gets a lot of press time here in FRL. We're officially 21 laps to go here, so when we go green, we'll have 20 laps to go. 17 cars left here in the race. Cashy will have control of the field here. No to Ignis. Ignis in a very, very good position for his championship contentions. Cashy, of course, keeping the dream alive here in the AlphaTauri. You can see Cashy trying to keep heat in the tires there. He is currently running on 9-lap-old hard tires, as are all of the top 4 here. Look at how close Noda is staying, though. Noda's leaving no room. And there is the call for the AMG safety car to come in this lap. Now, Cashy has control of the field here, so Cashy will decide when we get back underway. And this is going to be when he decides here, coming out of the final couple of corners. We're back green flag racing here, and this is lap 11 of 31, 20 laps to go. We're already side by side, Pujols and Syntax. There's a Haas of Matoush looking very aggressive back there in the back. And now we're through. We've got some people jockeying for positions quite a bit here. Ignis and Noda side by side fighting through. That is the Williams of Syntax that is spun. No! Ugh! Syntax spinning out there through the first few corners, now back in the back, missing a front wing, and this is the big battle here. Ignis and Noda duking it out as hard as they can. Buchik has gained his lap back, so Buchik needs to try to run away a bit here. And now that was a car just running off hard there. I believe that was Barthez, if I was right, that ran way off. But Ignis and Noda still competing here. Pujols and Matty still in the mix as well, as we watch there. Matoush getting a bit of a good run and running through. We'll see if he's able to convert this at all. We're lap 11 of 31 now, and as we continue to watch, Syntax, of course, dropping back. Buchik, Bernard, Barthez all dropping back pretty significantly. Buchik has gained his lap back and is trying to stay in a good position where he can be in the lead lap if another safety car comes out. Big battle here. You can see Graxon looking at a dive there on Matty just a little bit. Graxon, of course, on fresh medium tires. Matty, the last driver on hard tires that has not pit yet. So Graxit in a good position that he could get a pass on if he wanted to. Bernard spinning out there in the third sector. Back underway, though, no issues. There are cars clipping through each other there. That is Graxit and Maddie that have clipped through each other on my screen. But it looks like that is going to turn out that it's Graxit ahead. And now we've got Maddie and Tazo battling. I would imagine there's going to be a lot of team orders in play here because look who is just behind Tazo. It is going to be John Meister. Big championship contentions here. This could affect the Drivers' Championship pretty significantly depending on how this goes. And there we go, up the inside goes Tazo. Beautiful masterclass for how to do some passing there from Tazo. Maddie, of course, not making it hard on Tazo, but absolutely putting the brakes on John Meister, forcing him to stay back. And that is going to let Tazo get up into P7. Tazo can now set off on those fresh hard tires, try to chase down Graxit just a little bit, and we'll see if John Meister is able to bring any competition to the mix to get around Tazo. We're continuing to go through here. Maddie is losing a bit of time to Tazo here. And I think that is on purpose. Look at how slow Maddie is going there through the final couple of corners. He is absolutely trying to back up John Meister on purpose, which is amazing to see Red Bull playing games like that. DRS has now been enabled, so it's going to be a little bit tougher on Maddie there to try to hold John Meister back. Then, of course, Noda and Ignis are still within a second of each other in Kashti. So we'll see that gap start to close down a little bit here. Tazo trying to chase down Graxit, and that is Matush, Puhash, and Ignis that are just in front there. So we're going to see this battle continue to heat up as we go. Tazo's really going to try to get this pass done. Maddie not making it easy on John Meister in the least. Here we go. Is it going to be a dive up the inside? It's not. John Meister just biding his time here. Lap 13 of 31 and doing well to just bide his time. He knows the long run here. John Meister does. He knows what he's looking for, and he knows what the implications of this race are in both drivers and don't forget constructors, because it is currently Red Bull versus Alfa Romeo for the constructors. Alfa Romeo need good results if they want to try to get the constructors wrapped up as well. Watching here, and I still feel like Maddie is backing up John Meister on purpose. And might not be so at this point, but I feel like he's really not making things easy on him. Ignis is currently the big cork in the bottle for the drivers like Graxit and Tazo that are really trying to get a move on here. And look at that. But Graxit putting a lot of pressure down here. Yellow flag sector 2. That is Bernard that has spun. I think he's going to be back underway with no issues, though. But Graxit, I mean, just watch on board here how competitive he's trying to be. And look at that. Matush opening and then closing his DRS. I think the writing was on the wall there, and Matush just went ahead and let Graxit through and let him go. I did also just realize that Kashti is probably getting DRS off of Buchik as well. It's like another spin for Bernard there in the third sector. Now, here is where the fun really begins. Bernard retires out of the session, and that is going to be another Mercedes AMG safety car. Oh. Lap 14, and we have another safety car here. Is anyone going to opt for the pits? The front four have not pit yet. Matouche has not pit yet. John Meister pit on lap 1. Bimolino Gaucho has not pit yet. Will any of these drivers opt to go into the pits here? And it looks like we are about to have a run in pit lane here. Cashy's in, Noda's in, Ignis is in, Puhash is in, Graxon's in, Matouche is in, Tazo stays out. Noda picks up a penalty for a collision with Kashti. Not sure what that was about. And here we go into the pit lane now. Everyone going through. We see some wing changes. We see some different things. Baran, penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Ignis is in. Ignis with a front wing change. We've got double stacks at Haas. That's going to start backing drivers up here as people aren't going to be able to get out. Okay, or we just phased through them. I didn't expect that. Double stack at Haas. Double stack at Ferrari. Double stack at Aston Martin. Double stack at Alfa Romeo. Sorry, not Aston Martin. I meant Alfa Romeo. And that is going to mix things up pretty significantly. So now Tazo's in the lead. 8-lap-old hard tires. Daybase P2. 8-lap-old mediums. Maverick is P3. 8-lap-old hards. Kashti is there. Everyone else back has been in the pits. Looks like Maddie had to pit under a green flag, which is a little bit weird, but Maddie's currently sitting P9. Or Maddie put on a scrub set of medium tires. That is also an option. All right, so in terms of championship implications, because that is the big thing I'm going to be talking about for these last few races here, because that is where we're going to see the most sort of action come up. At the moment, Tazo is in an extremely good spot. Kashti is in a bad spot for where Kashti needs to be, but Kashti is, of course, on fresh medium tires, so Kashti really is not in a bad spot. Tazo needs to keep the lead, though, through the rest of this race. And Kashti needs to finish ahead of Tazo. Alfa Romeo are in a very, very bad spot right now. Because the thing that needed to happen for Tazo to secure the championship here is what's happening. Because Tazo needs Ignis below P7, which is happening, and John Meister to finish below the podium, which is also happening. At the moment, we're coming out of this with, I believe, Tazo and Kashti being the two battling for the championship. I think. But we started with 20 drivers. We're currently sitting with 16 drivers. We're halfway through the race here. And so far, Split 1 has kept things fairly clean and consistent. Had one VSC, two safety cars. Safety car is in this lap as the field has bunched itself back up. So now it is going to be up to Tazo when we get going again, even though it already says we're green flag running, which is really weird. So we'll watch Tazo here, and we'll see when Tazo decides he wants to take the field and go. And now Tazo gets us back underway here, starting lap 17 of 31. And look at this action back in the back. Kashi already trying to make use of those fresh medium tires and doing a very, very good job of it, I must say. As he goes around here, is he going to be able to get this pass done very early on? He needs to try to chase down and get himself up into a top place if he wants to keep some championship contentions alive. And as we go here, there's a big spin coming in, and that was Debe spinning out of the... What was that, turn 5? Yeah, that was Debe spinning out of turn 5. It's very, very unfortunate, but that is the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Debe now dropping back all the way to the back of the grid here. Kashti getting up into P4. Look at this battle through, as that is going to be Graxit who is spun. Drivers on colder tires, and we talk about safety cars breed safety cars. And track like Singapore, where mistakes are easy and mistakes are costly, that is indeed what we see as we go through here. Now it's Kashi versus Tazo, P1 and P2. Ignis is back in P5 at the moment. And look at this, that he's got a battle with in front of him. He's got Pujols Maverick. That is a lap car of Buchik there that they're going to have to battle through as well. And of course, lap cars do not have to get out of your way, but it is still distracting for the drivers because it is a car in the way. We'll ride on board with Maverick. I'll show you what I mean here. Because even though that car is ghosted out, you can drive through it. It's something in your way. It affects your vision. It changes where you're looking at. You're kind of looking at the car in front of you a little bit more than you're looking around. And it's going to affect these drivers. They're going to lose a little bit of pace here as we go through. But look at this, Pujols, fresh tires. I mean, look at the grip difference he has here on Maverick. Is he going to be able to get a pass done here? Maverick's going to go down the inside defensive, and Pujols is going to follow him all the way down. He's going to look up the inside here. Is he going to have the pass done? He's side by side as they go through. Maverick runs it a little bit wide there. Pujols just trying to hold on inside. Now we're side by side. They're 2x2. Going back past. Maverick is going to hold on to it. Now Pujols is trying to get past Ignis around the outside as they go through. Is he going to be able to make this stick? And he does make it stick. And now we have Noda in the mix as well. He's going to try to have a pass done. As we watch, as Kashi is still putting pressure on Tazo as well. We've got to keep our eyes on that. And then there goes the big change there. Pujols on Maverick. There is the McLaren of Noda around. There's a dive on the inside there from Matouche. Trying to get a pass done. There's Maddie in the mix as well. Red Bull Haas side by side as they come through, and they're coming out of turn 9. Who's going to get this pass done? Alfa Romeo of John Meister in the mix now. John Meister's looking to switch up the inside. Is going to be able to get this pass done. John Meister up the inside and around. He settles back in and slots back in. Not close enough to make a difference there. And he's going to have to hold on to where he's at the moment. Ignis up into P5, though, doing the job that he has to do. Currently, Ignis in a very, very good spot. Syntax and Bimolino Gaucho side by side as they drag race down the back straight here. Who is going to be able to make this pass and get this done? It looks like at the moment Bimolino Gaucho is going to hold on. We've got a yellow flag sector 2. I'm not sure what that's for, but I can tell you what we have going on right now as well. Look at that. Syntax and Noda and Maverick battling it out very, very hard. Maverick's going to come out behind Noda here for P5. Matouche is in P7 battling through. These drivers are acting like it's the last lap. We're only halfway through the Grand Prix here. Matouche is still setting up. Now DRS is enabled. Look at that. John Meister thinking about a dive around Maddie in the final corner, which would be very, very unusual of a passing spot to go for. Kashi, 0.2 of a second off of Tazo. This is our big battle here. These two, these are championship points that are all to play for here. Kashi needs to win to keep his championship contentions alive. And here we go. Defensive. Tazo is on the inside. Kashi's on the outside. Switch back there. Tazo gets a better exit. Kashi is going to have the run here. He's on the outside, though, for the next corner, which is going to switch back to the inside for this corner. And you see Kashi just ahead there. He holds on to it there. So Kashi now up into the lead against Tazo, taking advantage of the fresh medium tires and finally able to make a pass here. Now Kashi just needs to settle in and run his race and be comfortable through. Maddie trying to have a run on Maverick here, back for P8, and this is another example. Drivers just trying to push to get a pass done. You can see everyone bunching up into small little groups here. There's a group of 2 or 3 cars, and then there's a little bit of a gap of a couple seconds. Another group of 2 or 3 cars, a gap of a couple seconds, and look at the run here that we have coming out of the final corner. Maverick with Maddie, big run on him here. Is Maddie going to be close enough for a pass? Maddie's not close enough, but he's putting a lot of pressure on that Aston Martin. Big battle here. John Meister, P7, checking in with him. He needs to move it up the grid just a bit. Of course, Tazo still needs to pit, though, on 12-lap old hard tires. I can't imagine he's going to make another lap, 11 laps on those hard tires. So I think Tazo is in a very, very compromised position. Matty and Maverick battling it out here, and you can see Matty able to get ahead there. Yellow flag sector 1, that is going to be for Noda, who had a little bit of a spin there, a little bit of a moment, but he's back underway. John Meister now up into P6. And that is the Red Bull of... Who is that in the background? Was that Syntax? Was not Syntax. Was that Maddie? But, oh, there's a battle in front of Syntax happening. Bimolino Gaucho and Maverick battling, and Syntax is going to say, thank you very much. I want a position as well, if you don't mind. And he's going to try to look around Bimolino Gaucho. He's not going to be close enough for a pass there. But Syntax back up into the points-paying places after an early spin. Graxon's up into P11. That is Noda who has spun there in the background. And now Kashti down in P6. Kashti with a spin there, now battling it out with Maddie. Maddie's going to play a mega team game here. I can assure you of that. Kashti spinning there in the front sector, and this is going to be massive implications here. Kashti is trying to fight back against Maddie. He's trying to go through. We've got yellow flags everywhere. That is going to be a spin for, I believe, Syntax, who has spun out there in the middle sector. But is back underway now. Syntax trying to hold on there with Deve and Bimolino Gaucho. Kashti P7 here. Kashti was running in the lead. Kashti spinning out, dropping way back. No damage to his car, thankfully, so he can continue running, but he needs to push it forward. At the moment, Tazo, Ignis, and John Meister all in a position that it's still anyone's championship going into the final two races if they finish how they are right now. Look at Kashti trying to chase down Maddie. I know Maddie is probably trying to hold him back here. Maddie is playing team games, and I'm very much a fan of it. And now he's going to slot back in because he can't fight against Kashti forever, and slots back in there. So Kashti and Maddie, they settle that through. Graxon on Maverick now happening. Graxon up the inside. Maverick's on the outside. Maverick not able to make it happen. Loses the rear end and actually loses a position to Syntax, who was in the back just waiting to strike. And now Noda has retired out of the session there, and it looks like we're still going. I think we're all good here. Blue flags are flying for Tazo as Tazo is getting past, or Buchik is getting passed by the whole grid here. Buchik laps down at the moment. Puhashim P2. Ignis P3, Matush P4, John Meister P5, and Kashti P6. Bartha is now out of the session in the first sector, and that, ladies and gentlemen, I believe is going to spell our next safety car. Now, does Tazo go into the pits here? He does. He's going to compromise track position into the pits. 10 laps left to go here in this race. What is anyone else going to do? Baran picks up a penalty for speeding through safety car. Ignis stays out. John Meister stays out. Tazo giving up track position. Ignis and John Meister on medium tires are going to play the long game here. Only 7 laps old. Kashti staying out here for track position. Where is that Red Bull driver going to come out, though? He's on a fresh set of soft tires to finish this Grand Prix, and we saw the delta that the softs had against the medium and hard tires in Split 2. So Tazo is going to come out P6 here. So at this point, we're 9 laps to go. Ignis, John Meister, very much where they need to be. Oh, this is going to shape up to be a mega finish here because you got Graxon on 7-lap-old hard tires. Tazo's on brand new soft tires. Everybody behind Tazo is on brand new tires. Baran is on brand new soft tires. Puhash, Ignis, John Meister, Kashti, and Graxon are all on used tires. This is about to be epic. Again, remember, if Tazo can win and John Meister doesn't finish on the podium and Ignis finishes lower than 7th place, Tazo is our champion. When I read that stat, when it was posted last week that the championship could be secured this weekend, I thought it was crazy. And then I remembered we're in FRL. Things happen all the time. And then, of course, remember Kashti can also do well if he wins the last 3 races of the season, which for a little bit it was kind of looking possible, and Kashti's not in a horrible position right now. Maddie's also in the same position as Kashti in terms of that, if Maddie were to win all the rest of the races. But Maddie and Tazo are teammates, so I don't know that that's going to happen. Of course, Tazo won Season 5, won Season 6, was Constructors Champion in 4, 5, and 6. So very, very, very experienced driver here in FRL. And at the moment, that experience is paying off. Just kind of looking through the stats here of drivers at the moment. Tazo has 47 races under his belt here in FRL with 12 wins. John Meister has 47 races under his belt with 3 wins. Ignis has 41 with 1 win. And Kashti has 24 races with 6 wins under his belt. No call yet for the safety car in on this lap, but we are still missing one of the Ferraris in the back of the field. So I think we may go one more lap under safety car, and that is what it's looking like at the moment, not being called in yet. I think we'll give it one more lap to allow Baran to catch up to the grid. All right. Graxon out of the session there. We're already back underway, and Graxon's immediately out of the session. I don't know what happened there. That was very, very weird. And now it's a battle here. Tazo and Kashti. Kashti into the wall there. That's the Hassel Matoush that gets very, very loose there. That's going to bottleneck up the midfield. And now as we watch through, Maverick, Baran, Syntax all trying to take advantage of that. And there's a big wreck there. I believe that is Maddie. Oh, Maddie's into the wall there. Loses out big time. Syntax up into P7 here. Matoush P6. Kashti's P5. Tazo's P4. Those two were battling. And I do think that Kashti went into the wall a little bit there. I don't know if he picked up any damage. Matoush in P6. Syntex is P7 trying to chase him down here. Baran and P8 on brand new soft tires trying to chase down everyone. Tazo on those fresh softs has it underway. Now, yellow flag, sector 3. Baran has DNF'd out of this race. What happened to Baran here? Let's see just a moment here. We're on board with Matty, and it looks like he spun going in under the tunnel. And ladies and gentlemen, safety cars breed safety cars, and I think this is going to be a long run to the end of the race here. Oh, boy. Cashy's into the pits. Ignis is into the pits. Cashy onto a brand new set of mediums. Ignis onto a brand new set of softs. Debe onto a brand new set of softs. And Matty, of course, having to replace that front wing after that big spin onto a brand new set of softs. Tazo and John Meister stay out. This is getting very, very interesting. 6 laps left to go here in this race, and we're going to spend a couple of them under safety car at least. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. All right. Let's see if I can find something to talk about for a couple minutes here. F123. Let's talk about F123. There we go. That's going to fill in our safety car time this time. F123. We are looking at, according to Twitter leaks, about 2 weeks until... approximately 2 weeks until the actual, like, game info is out. But according to some leaks from some project leaders at Venturi Studios and the founder of the Assetto Corsa Endurance Series, an F1 2022 game modder, F1 23 is for pre-order in Britain for £55 for standard and £65 for premium. Which, for context, 65 Great British Pounds is approximately 80 US dollars. So, yeah, it seems like it's going to be an expensive game, but they're calling it an actual simulator this time instead of like an arcade game. So it's possible that there could be some big changes coming in for the game. I don't know. I can only hope. Just a few laps left to go here. I'm going to guess safety car will be in this lap if Buchik can catch up fast enough here or get just close enough that the game allows it. He's still got about half a sector, and there he is. He's caught up to the field now. So I think it will be safety car in this lap, which will put us a 5-lap shootout to the end. We had the same thing happen in Split 2, and they went about 3/4 of the lap, and then we had another safety car. It took us down to about a 3-lap shootout and another safety car for a 2-lap shootout. Let's see how this ends here in Split 1. So, there is the call for safety car in this lap, and that is going to put Puhash in the lead of the field. John Meister in P2, 11-lap-old medium tires. P3 is Tazo, 4-lap-old soft tires. So Tazo in an extremely good position here to find himself moved up in the grid. He's looking for that victory. If he can get the victory, John Meister finishes outside of the podium. Ignis finishes outside of the top 7. Cashy doesn't finish on the podium. Tazo has gotten the Drivers' Championship this weekend. A lot of things have to happen here, and it's kind of shaping up that it might happen that way, as John Meister is on 11-lap-old mediums. See, Puash is going to decide when the field gets to go. He's not doing a crawl like Bimolino did, a la carte Hamilton, Abu Dhabi, but we're back underway here. 5 laps of action coming at us here as we go through. We start lap 27. You can see everybody going through. That is going to be Bimolino trying to break a little bit of slipstream here. Maverick is going to be in the mix. Syntax is in the mix. And now as we watch, we'll see here what everyone's able to do. Syntax snaps out the rear end there off the restart. Now he's going to be under a lot of pressure from Ignis. Ignis knows he needs to finish in this top 7 position. Ignis is through. So Ignis now where he needs to be. Tazo needs to put a little bit of pressure here and find himself where he needs to be as well. Tazo pushing through. Currently, it is Puash, John Meister, Tazo, Matoush, all very, very close together here. And it's really anyone's guess how this is going to end as we have just a few laps to go here. 5 laps to be precise. And you can see Matoush thinking about a little bit of a dive there on Tazo. Not close enough to make that happen. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Coming through the middle sector. This is going to be turn 13, left-hander. Everyone's holding on. Cashy has picked up a time penalty now as well. John Meister has a time penalty, and the way it's sitting, that could put John Meister outside of the podium. Going to run through. Ignis has a pass done on Bimolino Gaucho, so Ignis now up into P6. Ignis continuing to put those fresh soft tires to use, try to chase down the top places here. He's got about a second to make up on Maverick, and he's already made up 0.2 of a second before I could even say he had a second to make up. So Ignis is absolutely flying through. Continue to watch. Syntax spins out there in the middle. That is Syntax and Bimolino that have spun. Cashy is now out. That is Cashy's chances at a championship gone. Where did Cashy spin at? Fastest lap now goes to Buchik here. No safety car deployed, which is very, very surprising, all things considered. Now, let's jump back up front here because things are heating up. Matoush half a second back on Tazo. Tazo 0.2 of a second back off of John Meister. John Meister is 0.7 of a second back on Puash. Ignis and Maverick battling here. Ignis able to get past Maverick, now up into P5 here. Cashy's championship chances are officially gone. So we now have a 3-way title fight for the rest of this season. John Meister, Tazo, Ignis, who will finish where? They are all in positions where it keeps all of them in contention at the moment. 28 laps out of 31 completed. And Ignis is continuing to put the pedal down. Look at the difference in cornering speed. Look at how fast he's gaining here. I mean, he is absolutely trying. A little bit of a poor exit there coming out of turn 13 right as I said that. Commentator curse anyone. And there's a big slide from Ignis trying to hold on to the grip and just not close enough to do so. And unfortunately, he is going to slip back just a little bit, and that may put Maverick back in striking contention again. Matoush trying to chase down Tazo here and battling through. Tazo trying to hold off Matoush, but also chase down John Meister because he knows if he can finish ahead of John Meister, it makes it a little bit easier for him to win this championship. DRS is now enabled, and this is going to change everything. Ignis is within DRS range of Matoush. Tazo is within DRS range of John Meister. This is where the drivers earn their paycheck. These final few laps when everything's on the line. DRS is open here, but of course John Meister has DRS on Puash, and Tazo has DRS on John Meister. Matoush has DRS behind, and Ignis has DRS behind. Look at him just trying to hold on. He's trying to get a bit of a run. He's being a little bit riskier with the brakes, a little bit earlier on the throttle, whatever he can do to try to get a run through, and you can see it's starting to pay off there as he almost runs into the back of John Meister there through that section. And John Meister and Ignis, I'm sure, are communicating right now because Ignis is the big title fight right now. Ignis and Tazo are the two battling. John Meister If you're Tazo, you really wish your teammate was up here in the mix as well so you could play a little bit of team games, because I'm sure that's what John Meister is getting ready to start doing. As we continue to watch here, they're continuing to battle it out, and there's a big spin from Matoush. Matoush spins out of turn 13, and that is going to put Ignis right on the back of Tazo. This is heating up with 2 laps to go. Continue to watch here. This is lap 29 of 31. It's John Meister, Tazo, Ignis. Anyone's guess as to how this is going to finish and how this will affect things here with the final 2 races coming up after this. Here we go. 2 laps to go officially. This is the next to last time they're going to cross the start-finish line. Ignis trying to chase down Tazo here. You see a little bit sloppy of a run through the first couple corners. Tazo P3, John Meister just ahead as well, and Puhash is trying to hold on to this win here. Puhash is doing all he can to hold on. How is this going to affect things going into Austria next week? How will this affect things going to Interlagos? Are we going to see some major battles here in these final 2 laps? Tazo's looking a little defensive here. He knows he's got Ignis behind him. Is he going to be able to hold on here? He's got to get past John Meister. Now Ignis picks up a penalty. Ignis is up the inside. Ignis is up the inside. Wheel-to-wheel contact there. A little bit of contact, but that is going to put Ignis in a good position to come out ahead. Tazo's not able to hold on to it. Slightly older soft compound tires. Ignis is up into P3 and is going to finish ahead of Tazo, if he can hold on to it here. Now John Meister up into P2. Where are they going to finish as they run through? Is there any chance of them fighting for the win? We go through here. We're halfway through this penultimate lap, and this is the big battle. Tazo, I don't think, has enough left in the tires to try to catch and pass Ignis again. So this is going to bring them significantly closer together with everything, because as it stands, Tazo cannot secure the championship, which means we will go into the penultimate round in Austria with the championship still up for grabs, both drivers and constructors, because this will put Red Bull pretty much tied, I believe, with Alfa Romeo. And as we go through here, we're going to go through the final couple of turns. But of course, John Meister and Ignis have penalties, so that will help Tazo finish ahead. But as we look at the championship standings as they sit, Tazo just needs to hang on. He'll still finish P2 on the podium, and that will still give him a pretty good run of points going into Austria. John Meister and Ignis will have to fight a little bit harder here. And of course, they're going to swap positions here. And I believe John Meister is going to go mega defensive here. Look at that. He's trying to hold up Tazo. Tazo's going to just bully him out of the way here. Tazo knows he needs to stay near Ignis in order to take advantage of that penalty. I think they were going to try to play a little bit of Red Bull games. And unfortunately, I don't think they executed it the way they had hoped. Now Ignis is going to set off to try to chase down Puhash to finish P1 on track here through the middle sector, left turn out of turn 13 here. How is this battle going to wind up? And there goes John Meister spinning out of turn 13. So John Meister now dropping down considerably, and this could knock John Meister if Matty gets past him here, which I don't think he has to worry about here. You see Matty in the background. But if something happens again and he finishes outside of P7, then John Meister is officially out of the contention for championship. Which actually, I think John Meister is officially out of contention. Battle side by side, Tazo and Ignis coming through the final corners here. Lap 31, and they're going to battle it out hard. Even though Tazo has the position, he wants it on track too. As they come out the final couple of corners here, it is going to be Puhash securing the victory here. P2 comes across for Tazo, P3 for Ignis. They swap positions due to penalties. Matoush is going to come across P3. Maverick P4. Wait. Ignis drops even further down. Ignis finishes P5. John Meister P6. That means we have a two-way battle for the championship going into Austria. Tazo in the Red Bull. Ignis in the Alfa Romeo. That is going to be our battle for the championship here. Is John Meister couldn't finish on the podium and is officially knocked out of contention, mathematically. Pujols brings it across the line for a victory here, and I don't... The implications of this race are hard to explain. John Meister, with a spin on the final lap, knocks himself out of contention for the championship. Mathematically, it was very hard anyways, but officially, he is mathematically out of contention. Ignis just barely stays mathematically in contention with that man in P2, Tazo. Two-time defending champion here in FRL. Knows what he needs to do to get things done. Ignis knows mathematically it's hard, but it's not impossible. Pujols, Tazo, Matoush, Maverick, Ignis, John Meister, Matty, Bimolino, Gaucho, Debe. Syntex ends up bringing it home P10. Buchik, Kashti, Baran, Graxent, Barthez, Noda, Bernard, Ekstrak, Wasserschwein, and Maku. Those are going to be our drivers that finish up this race. Lots of weird collisions, lots of track limits in. And I think going into our final two races, we are going to have a very, very fun run coming our way. Ladies and gentlemen, it's two races left after this. You've got Austria, and then you've got Brazil. And then that is Season 7 done and dusted. And we still don't have clear champions in either split that I'm aware of. Split 2 going into this race was 2 points separate between Franek and Baran, and Radislav Kepa was in the mix as well. Big championship implications there, as I don't think any of those drivers finished the race. So Split 2 is still completely up in the air, and that will probably run to the wire, and we won't know until the end of Brazil who won. Split 1 here. We're now down to a two-way fight between two heavy hitters in this race, in this league, in this championship. As always, if you're interested in joining, check out our socials, jump into the Discord, pick a number, pick a name. You have until April 8th to sign up for running in Season 8. Can't wait. 2 more weeks. Absolutely chaotic. More information to come about Season 8 soon. More information to come about. Lots of things in the works for FRL. I hope everyone's excited. I hope everyone sticks around. As always, my name is Bradley. I'm the voice of FRL. And I will see you at the Red Bull Ring in 7 days' time. And it looks like Noda is going to be your winner of this Portuguese Grand Prix. Is your champion. JJ splits the middle, gets past both drivers.